It's a great day to talk hockey with Grant McCagg on Habscast.
Oh my goodness. Just as that closes, Mark sends me $20. It's good to be on a winning streak, eh, guys? Beautiful. Thanks, Marcus. I appreciate it, buddy. It's yes, it's 6 straight games, folks. Regulation. I had a look there, Liam. I was going back.
Yeah.
2016, remember Terrian's tear at the start of the year?
Yeah.
they won they went 13-1-1, I think it was.
Yeah.
But they won 8 straight, and then they lost to Columbus 10-0. That was the last time. That was the last time that they won 6 straight. So anyways, I'm being told to keep it down here a bit. I'm at the dining room table, so I'm going to try to refrain from getting too excited here. But oh my goodness, would you, like in your wildest dreams, would you predict that you're looking at the schedule and you say, Liam, I'm going to start with you. You haven't been on in a while. Would you have thought, they'd be 6-0 in the last 6, looking at the schedule?
No way. Absolutely not. Not a chance, not a hope in hell. This is incredible.
Cheers.
There's so many good things. Yeah, cheers. Cheers, Grant. Get that pint in you. Just absolutely love it. I always text back and forth with my son during the game, and as the game was progressing, of course they had some chances, and Dobie was solid again. But the overall feel of the game, I didn't have, in 2021, it was such a fear factor of Tampa, and we've played them so many times, and they're just one of the teams that just typically beats up on us, and it just didn't feel the same way tonight, even when they pushed. Dobie was there. We had some gaffes. It's a game of mistakes. That happens. But no, Grant, there's no way, I don't think any of us in our wildest dreams could have expected this 6-0 run, especially in regulation. It's been and the emergence of Dobie here. We know Fowler will get into games sooner rather than later here, but my goodness gracious, what a fantastic effort tonight, a fantastic win. And I am just so thrilled and so happy with what I'm seeing to move away from the Peloton that was nipping at our heels here in these last couple of weeks. I know Eric Macramella, I heard him on I think it was on 690, and he was saying it's exhausting. It's exhausting watching the games go. God damn.
Yeah,
no, we gotta get a point. We gotta get a point. But now this run has been unreal.
Well, 10 points now. They've got a 10-point lead all of a sudden. Just, if you'd have said a week ago or 10 days ago, they'll be up 10 points by the time they play in Tampa, you thought you're nuts. But all of a sudden the other teams are losing. Like you look at the standings here, Montreal 96, and the 3 teams that are out of the playoffs now 86. So I'd say that anytime there's more of a point spread than there is games left, you've done it. And especially when there's 4 teams between you and ninth place, it's safe to say that the Canadiens they're making the playoffs. We can finally, crack a beer, cheers. It's tonight. With the other teams losing, they're officially in, I think, Rick. And are you breathing a little easier right now after tonight's game?
Oh, it was never in doubt for me, man. I believed all along, man. I never doubted. No, I can't say that.
Yeah. Jeez. Roller coaster.
I think, Liam, you said it so well. When you were talking about the Tampa having Montreal's number for so many years, and now you felt the vibe being a little bit different as the game wore on. You felt Tampa being more and more flustered. What is it going to take to stop these guys? Nothing is working out well. They get the save when they need, and they get a lot of good defense. And they didn't get anybody at the trade deadline, and everybody thought it'd be such a disappointment. And we all thought it was a major mistake. And now the defense starts putting it together. And tonight, man, they could have, again, Same thing as versus Carolina. They could have crumbled under the pressure. They could have said, "Oh, well, they've won so many games in a row. We're in Tampa." Nothing to it, man. Nothing. Jacky stepped up. Struble stepped up. Hudson was out of this world amazing today. And even the forwards, a ton of block shots, a lot of, and even like blocking passes with their sticks and getting in the way. And that doesn't necessarily count as a block shot, but they were blocking passes, they were blocking shots, and they were blocking opponents. They were giving them very little, and when they did, Dobesh stepped up. So, wow, just a total turnaround from like a month and a half ago to 2 months ago.
I'm glad that Kucherov was in a whiffing mood tonight. I don't know how many times he whiffed on shots, but it's good when it's him whiffing on it, because usually he buries a couple. But like what a difference a couple months makes. Like, and at the end I'm thinking, well, 2 months ago this you've got Evans on the ice, you got Carrier on the ice, and you've got Monty and Nets protecting the 1-goal lead late here, and it wasn't good. Well, Evans was in the box, Carrier's injured, Doby and Nets, and I was thinking, you know what, we got this. We're gonna hang on. But Liam, like I felt they were gonna win, and I didn't feel that way even a month ago. But 20 goals against in their last 12 games. Like, it's just been a complete turnaround. This Marciano guy obviously is making a difference. Doby is playing like that unorthodox, all over the ice goalie. We haven't been seeing that lately. Like, he's a lot more reserved, like in control. And he's always had the competitiveness and the athletic ability, but now he's playing a lot more structured too. And it's just, I think Marciano deserves a lot of credit. I think Doby's save percentage now since Marciano, it was .917 going into tonight. It's got to be over .920 now. But Liam, do you think, I know earlier on in the year you felt, and I mean, and it was justified, that the Habs wouldn't have a hope in hell of beating Tampa in the playoffs. Mm-hmm. Do you still feel that way, or do you think maybe with the defense seemed to have tightened up and the goaltending now really turned around, that maybe they could give Tampa a go in the playoffs?
Yeah, I saw Mark or whoever it was said to ask based on comment I made quite a while back in the season, for sure, when Tampa was on that run and accelerated up before the Sabres went on their run and passed them here, and it's now we're right in the mix as well. So I still think Tampa would be favored in a playoff series against Montreal. I think that's fair to say. Obviously I cheer for the Habs. I'd be hoping we'd get results like tonight. We'll get the goaltending. There was easily 8 or 10 absolutely train wreck shifts by us tonight. Noah Dobson maybe had his worst game in a month. There was a number of other really, really tremendous amount of soft plays by us that were either bailed out by Doby or, like you said, Cooch coming back off the illness, not quite feeling it as much as he would have. The chance by McDonough in front. If they call Evans a 5-minute major on that one, and they pull Vazzy and they got 3 guys up, it's pretty much a done deal. We're going to OT, hopefully, if we hold off through the rest of the power play. So you need some things to go right, even when you win a game, and let alone win a playoff series. So listen, Montreal are turning even probably some of the most hardcore, staunch fans, turning our heads. You just said, Grant, we started this whole show. Anybody think, you asked me anyway, I never thought in a million years we'd go 6-0 and all in regulation. I can't imagine any Montreal fan did. We all wish it, but there's no way you could have possibly foreseen this coming. And there's just so many great things happening. We're now at 5 points ahead of where we were last year, meaning we've now improved our point total for 5 straight years. The NHL record is 8 by San Jose. And it's just, it's heady stuff that we're seeing as Habs fans right now. Let's solidify that playoff spot. It's not mathematically done yet. And then maybe you can rest a couple of the guys and get some of the other guys a little bit more ice time and save some of our guys here. But I think if a series starts against Tampa tomorrow, they'd still be favored.
Oh, yeah, I'd say they'd be favored. I think, I mean, like there's always upsets and there's always, injuries and breaks. Breaks seem to be a big part of playoff series. And I think they can hang with them now. At least I'm more confident that they can hang with them. And then if things go your way and Dolby keeps playing like he is, like he's played every bit as good as Vasilevsky in the past 8 games. And I mean, there's no way you could ever said that before, but like he's been legitimately a star goalie. He's the star of the week this past week. Like if he plays like that in the playoffs with the Canadiens' firepower, I think they can, they might be able to come out of the East. It's not, it's looking more possible than it certainly it did after a trade deadline when they didn't do anything. And I thought, oh, okay, they're waiting until next year. Well, maybe not. Maybe that, I mean, we've seen it with Habs teams before, right? Remember the year I was talking about this earlier, Liam, like when Lucic in the handshake line with Weiss, and they were way tougher, and the Habs were not supposed to come close to beating them, right? The Habs didn't really have a tough, like a playoff team that could compete with them physically, yet they upset them, right? And Lucic was so upset that he, I'm going to kill you to Weiss and all that.
Yeah.
Like maybe something like that happens this year with this Habs team. It's certainly a lot more talented Habs team than that one was.
Yeah, listen, I want to throw it back over to Rick, but I'll just finish my little blurb here by saying anything can happen, of course, in the playoffs. But I think I'll just feed off what you just said, Grant. This Montreal team is giving us all a reason to be massively more optimistic than in 10 or 12 years, right? Right in the height of Carey's run, and probably right to 2014, where if Kreider doesn't run them, we don't know, right? So right, maybe there. Yeah, I know 2021, it was a hell of a run and all the situations around it, and I do not take one solitary bit away from us. We erased 3. We administer the worst defeat Leaf in series, worst series defeat in history to Toronto. You sweep Winnipeg and you beat a hell of a Vegas team. But I'll tell you right now, yeah, Montreal could. Although if you play a best of 7 and the games are like you played against Carolina, you're not winning 4 times like that in the playoffs. So they still have a whole other level I think they need to go before they're a true cup contender. However, hot goalie for 2 months, some timely scoring, couple breaks. Next thing you know, we're on St. Catherine Street. We're pinting her up, boys.
Yeah, what do you think, Rick?
It's going to take like everybody to be on the top of their game because, as you said, Liam, it's not a totally finished product yet. They're still a team that's forming. They're just on the cusp of being all they could be. I do think, though, that a lot of the younger players and the ones that are going to carry the team do have a little bit of playoff experience from last year. And I think that's going to serve them well. The last year was a bit of a shell shock for a lot of guys. But I think this year, a lot of them are going to be a little bit more ready. And I think some of the stuff that happened in the past few months with Slavkovsky basically, carrying the Slovakian team at the Olympics and Suzuki being an important part of Team Canada and really holding his own and being a factor. A lot of it, that's the stuff that they could build on and they could carry for them in the playoffs. So I do expect that they'll be able to perform fairly well come playoff time. But yeah, everybody's going to have to be, really at the top of their game. Some teams are really, really good and they could run at 90% and go far in the playoffs, but the Habs can't do that at this point of their development. They're going to have to be really at 100%. Let's hope they're not leaving it all out there now. And they have a little bit left come playoff time, but it's good that they're winning these games. Though they start off with difficulty in Carolina and they hold on and they come back. And today's game was another one where maybe it didn't start off so well, especially in the first two periods. And as you said, Liam, now Dobson struggled a lot in the first two periods, but in the third period, I thought he played much, much better. And again, you could fall apart when things don't go well, or you could battle back. And that's what playoff hockey is a lot of. It's a lot of battling. It's a lot of little wars, mental, physical, and things like that. So there's some stuff that they're gaining now that's going to serve them well. I think the Habs are, I wouldn't say favorites to take on Tampa, but Tampa's going to be, I think Tampa's maybe slightly favored if Montreal take them on in the playoffs, but not by much, and they know it. They learned that tonight.
Well, there's 2 points separating them, and Montreal's a game in hand, so I don't think, it should be a close series, hopefully.
Yeah.
If Montreal gets the goaltending. And, Slavkovsky in that first period, right, and Hudson, just like it's to have such young guys that take over games for the Canadiens. It's just been so long. You have to go back to Richer, Corson, Roy, that Lemieux, that group, right?
Screwdlin.
Yeah, Screwy, Memesso. I mean, you have to go back to that. Liam, I got thinking. I think Slav's going to be a point per game guy from now on, like he has been for the past 50 games. So it tells me it's just going to keep progressing, and I think Demidov is as well. There's a realistic chance, maybe not next year, but if everything comes together the year after, 5 80-point scorers on the Habs, this is a team that had a 50-point scorer as their leading scorer, not that long ago. I got thinking, the last team that had 5 80-point scorers on it, how far back we got to go? We got to go back 20 years. Yeah. And I looked it up, and it's 20 years. Pittsburgh Penguins, Mario, Jagger, Francis, Nedved, and Zubov. 80 points.
30 years.
So, 30 years. Hello. What happened to that decade? Thank you, Liam.
It's all those late night pints there, Greg.
Yeah, that's right. But 30 friggin' years, Liam, and no team has done it. And I'm not saying they're going to. I mean, a lot of things have to go right, but the potential absolutely is there for the Canadiens to have 5 80-point scorers either next year or the year after. And we'll see if it happens. But, I mean, just a complete turnaround. Fire wagon hockey is back, baby. That's all I can say.
Where's Andy O'Brien when you need him? He's the guy who coined that phrase about 80 years ago. So,
right.
You know what, Slav? Tonight, I've missed some games recently for gigs, and I've been involved with the local senior team in Manotick, and they have their championship game on Saturday night. So again, it'll be another miss for me, but that's the final game, and then I'll be locked in for the rest of the year at that point. But Slav tonight, every night really, it's been just like you said, Grant, the run he's been on. But he made a play tonight, and I've seen him do it a bunch of other times. For his patience down low has grown in leaps and bounds. He's using his body. He's so freaking strong. He holds, not so much he holds guys off, but he blocks guys off, and he turns and he looks, and he's not going cross seam. He's going back to the point. Like the back checkers are in play, especially against a team like Tampa. Mike and the guy, they were saying it tonight on the game, right? Like there was no ice out there for most of that second period. I mean, the teams, it was a chess match. But every now and then, right, they'd have a chance, whatever. They're a great team. And, Hedman out, he'll be a big boost when they get him back. But Slav made that pass back to Strubes tonight, to Struble. I know it was only the one little play, but I've seen him do it so many times. I see him take a look, and he finds that guy. He makes it look easy. That's not easy. No. Most guys, even in the NHL, they're looking back down low. They're either throwing it in traffic, they're giving it up, they're losing it on the boards in the battle, or even if they keep it in or whatever, you're not getting anything out of it. He throws it back to Struble. It changes the whole schematic of what Tampa has to do, and it opens up multiple lanes, especially with that line on the ice. And I'll tell you, I haven't been on with you guys in a while, but it's giddy time. Like, it's just I don't know how many times I have been on here just saying, can't wait for the next game. Like, it's just, they've just instilled so much confidence in us as fans right now. Those of us who watch it so closely, and all of us here, all the people online here right now who's ever watching are probably old enough to know how we've all can go back 20, 30 years. Some of us further, doesn't matter. But to when it was last really, really bad, those first few years after 2021, and then back, of course, in the late 90s, early 2000s. But Slav, man, oh man, I agree, Grant. I think we have got the sky's the limit, really, for what these guys can do. They've been hanging around top 2, 3, 4 goals for all year. And, you take away, I mean, all teams can say this, but some of the struggles we had earlier with our goaltenders, and, Dobie had a few rough shifts too. They're all going to have that. But man, oh man, oh man, it is something else to be a Habs fan right now. I am so jacked. It's incredible, really. I mean, I'm certainly not comparing it. They got to go out and win something significant, go deep or something again. You're really going to fire us up. But I mean, it is just sky high right now as a fan.
Like I showed you that graphic, that Pittsburgh Penguin team from 30 years ago. And, there's a guy on that list. And I know in his draft year, I saw some of this in Slav, and I got a lot of heat from it. But there is some Jagger there, there really is. His puck protection skills, I don't know that I've seen another player, since Jagger that has that, he's not Jaromir Jagr, but that it can protect the puck as well as he can. And he's getting more and more confidence with the puck too. You see him make a couple of beautiful stick handles. But when he does that play, like the one, where he circles back to the point and you just can't get the puck from him, and he circles around. And then when he shovels it over to the defenseman, I think one of the reasons why he can do it and others don't is just you can't get the puck from him. So he knows he can make that play and not get checked. And he's got great vision, and we see it more and more of it now that he's got the confidence to hold on to the puck in the offensive zone that he didn't have a couple of years ago. But there is, I'm not sure that since Jagr that I've seen, he does it a little differently. Jagr used his butt, just you couldn't get, he'd stick it out there and you couldn't get to the puck. Slav uses his reach and strength, and just holds it out there, and they can't get to the puck. They can't. And it's just, he just turned 23. And what's pretty cool is I got a list, and do I have it here? Yes, I do. All right. Points between the age of 22, sorry. Okay, Slav, 175, Richard, 163, because Slav just turned 22, right? So these are the totals. 175 for Slav, 163 Richard, 154 Richer, 136 Galchenyuk, 136 Tremblay, 126 a defenseman named Wayne Hudson, 119 Guy Lafleur. Now, so 2 of the top 6 are from the last 3 months, because Hudson turned 22 in January. And I got looking, I looked at the points per game for Demidov so far. And if he's healthy up until his 22nd birthday, he's on pace just at his rookie pace to get 151 points which would put him fourth on that list. But I wouldn't be surprised if, it's more than that, because I have a feeling he'll be scoring even more next year. And then so that'll be three guys in the top seven, maybe in the top seven, points accumulated under the age of 22, all in the last 3 years, just coming up, right? So it's just the future is so bright with this team, as is the present. Are you excited, Rick?
How could I not be? I mean, it creates winning hockey, but it's also fun hockey. You're not watching the Jersey Devils of the 80s and 90s play a boring trap and just waiting for something to happen. This is fun hockey too. So
Yeah.
if you love the game, you love watching this. And I think what you're seeing, and it's probably a little bit of Marty St. Louis in there, that every one of these players do have that one quality that stands out, but they also bring a secondary skill for all of them. And that's what's giving them that extra fraction of a second to make a play. So the great puck possession and puck protection game of Slafkovsky, but he's developed such a good passing game right now that opponents have to almost play him a bit carefully. You can't just double shift him because he'll make you look foolish by making a really, really good pass. And that's the same thing with yesterday when somebody asked me, what makes Caulfield such a great scorer? Is it his line mates? Is it his shooting? And I said, no, it's because he's a pretty good passer too. And now everybody's got to give him just that fraction of a second. And that's what hockey is. It's that fraction of a second that makes totally the difference between succeeding and failing. And Suzuki's the same thing, where he was strictly a passer for a long time. He developed a very underrated wrist shot in the past few years. Now he's got that little fraction of a second to make plays. So that's what you're seeing is a team that can beat you many ways. And now you put all three of them together. It's like you got so many options. They could pass for minutes at a time, and they could all shoot at any time. They could move it up and down the ice. They could beat you with their skating and their shiftiness. And you see how much puck possession time they have in the offensive zone. And I think it speaks a lot to that. And you tire out the opponent and you create mistakes and you create confusion because they could do many things. Every single one of them and all of them together is just 1,001 options, it feels like, every time they're making plays.
Yeah. Carrier went out and they went with 5 defensemen. They called up Adam Engstrom. And as I figured, at least for the first game anyways, they sat him in the they sat him out. So it didn't really make sense to bring up Reinbacher to sit in the stands. The guy's been, he missed so many games in the last 2 years. They're not going to, obviously they knew that they were going to play Jack-Eye and Struble and go with 5D. Well, it was going to be 5 lefties regardless, but what did you think of them calling up Engstrom instead of Reinbacher? Do you think that was the main reason why, Liam?
I think so, yes. Listened to a lot today, read a lot today after the call up. And I know previously, Grant, you and I had chatted. I really thought in that the week of St. Patrick's Day, that week, which is just 2 weeks ago, I believe, that I really thought Reinbacher was going to get the call up then. I thought we were going to see him getting some action and whatnot. And now at the time of the season where it's at, and given that clearly Enstrom was brought up to sit tonight for sure, and we'll see how the guys would perform in what is a very tough place to play against a good team, a great team. And it just seems like that was the right move, so wholeheartedly applauded at this point. And we'll see what they want to do going forward. But I think now it does appear, and to what you just said, Grant, Enstrom, he's got 10, 11 games in, I think.
Yeah.
Somewhere in that area. No rookie lap. When he does get in, he stepped into a situation. Yes, it's still going to be a cauldron, but at least he's got his feet wet here. Reinbacher, high draft pick, been injured, coming in, all the pressure right now while Montreal still, yes, we're looking great, but we're not 100% home and cool yet. And so it looks right now like, again, it was 100% the right call. And, we'll see what they want to do for the configuration going forward with Jack-Eye primarily, because I think right now in the immediate part of the season, Struble is elevated past Arbor. And I think that's not a rocket science to figure that out. I mean, if you're watching the games or even if I'm not, I'm seeing thousands of replays after and reading everything. So it's pretty obvious to see that he has gone past him a little bit. And yet I'm very happy Arbor's got a couple games in here, and he's going to be on the playoff roster regardless. So highly likely he's going to see some playoff action. No doubt about it. So thought great call with Enstrom. I think we'll probably see him at some point, and we'll see Reinbacher when we see him. But I suspect when they do lock up a spot, maybe then,
Yeah, for sure. I hope he gets a look. They still have a couple of call-ups. Arbor didn't play too much at the end of the game, I guess. What was just curious to see how much ice time he ended up with. He got
13 minutes.
That's not bad, actually.
No, that's pretty damn good. I mean, he's played a whole lot less than that. Even last game, he played about a third of that. So, as a forward, which I did not think we'd see, and they did it.
About that, yeah. What do you think of him up on the wing?
Yeah, well, I saw him go in on the forecheck there a couple times and lay a couple of hits. I mean, he played 5 minutes, was credited with like 6 hits or something. I know he gave the one away there just inside the zone. And, but I mean, Lane Hudson had a bad giveaway tonight. Noah Dobson was handling the puck like a grenade for 40 minutes plus. So, you know what happens. And it's just Arbor's a lightning rod, especially on social media. They'll eventually probably run him out of town. But I hope not, but that's probably what will happen. But I think the guy is I look forward to seeing him, hopefully more down the road here. But in the playoffs as well, he'll get a game or two or more, all depending on the scenarios. I mean, Carrier's hurt now, injuries, right, whatever. At least he's a guy you can go in. There's a certain level of dependability. He's not a guy you ever want to have play a tremendous amount. I was surprised to see that, Grant. 13 minutes, to be honest. Because
Johnson said he kind of didn't play the second half. He said, and I wasn't like, really?
Yeah,
like they didn't fit him down the whole. They mustn't have, because he got 13 minutes. So Struble's in the offensive zone. I'm finding that he's getting more and more comfortable here, more confidence. He's making some really nice passes. He set up Caulfield really nice tonight, and he's been doing that a couple times each game. Coming in, they all have the green light to come in, right, and join the play. And Struble's been doing that with a fair bit of confidence and really trimmed down his miscues. Like, since he's come into the lineup, and it's got to be tough, right, Liam? When you play a game and you're out, and you play a game and you're out, and you play 2 games and you're out, it's hard to get a rhythm. And now that he's gotten 7 straight now, I think he's played, or 8. It shouldn't be a surprise that he looks more comfortable, because he's playing every game, right?
I'll give a shout out to the Hab fan from Tampa that chimed in there about 20 minutes ago or so and said hello. So, and hello to everybody else that's throwing an eyeball on us tonight. We very much appreciate it. But I'll throw that one over to Rick too, Grant, right after this, and say at Struble and Hudson, have looked pretty damn good, to be honest. And I totally agree with you. Consistency. If you look at Arbor's first couple seasons, I mean, holy lifting. Like he was contributing even. Like he was scoring some goals. He's got just an absolutely heavy snap wrist shot from the blue line. It surprises goalies with the times that he has scored a few goals, and he's picked up a few helpers. And I think it's been difficult on him. But by all accounts, from every single source that anybody can really unearth, it sounds like he's being a really good soldier for them and a really good teammate and very supportive. The videos after, whatever, they even gave him the fox head there last game. Yeah. Right?
Yeah.
So what does that say? He played like 6 minutes and they gave him that. The players know. They know. They know. Did you see Barclay Goudreau talking about Ryan Reeves last week in that interview? He was almost in tears talking about the value of what he means to that dressing room right now. These are the easiest guys for the average fan who can't skate from here to that wall and are going to comment on hockey and cut the shit out of these guys. It's the easiest thing to do. And yet the guys who really know in that room, they know what these guys bring to the table. So that, giving Arbor the Foxhead there, that spoke volumes to me. But it doesn't mean, he's going to be in every game. But the consistency that Struble has picked up just goes to show you, to your point, Grant, that when you can give these guys, I mean, they're better than the AHL level, and they're just a hair, like they're 5'6" guys, right? All day. They're 5'6" on a good day. They're 5'6". So now you give him a little confidence. He's playing with Lane, and he's all of a sudden he's more sure-handed. He's making the right play. My God, he's getting shots from the point. He picks up the odd point. He scores a goal coming in on that rush. What a beauty. What an absolute beauty that was. And man, I jumped so high for him. So it's, got to trust the process, trust Marty. He's been bringing these kids along for the ride. Let's all enjoy it.
Is this the guy you were saying from Tampa?
Yeah.
Liam?
Yeah,
well,
there he is.
That's Paul. That's Paul Antoniadis. That's our buddy from Montreal, actually.
Was he just down there visiting?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Oh, okay.
Jet setter. Yeah. He's down visiting. He says, fun to be here for a win. Minnesota, Winnipeg, and Tampa Bay last month. Go Habs. Yeah.
Nice.
Retired and actually, I guess, has some money. It's nice. Nice.
Let's go drinking.
Yeah, that's right. But Rick, you haven't had the floor for a while. Just expand on what Liam's been saying.
Oh, I wonder one thing about Arbor. I've said this, I think, a few times. I would love for Montreal to sign him to a 4 or 5 year extension at like $1.5 million a year. Just have him be he's going to probably max out as a 6-7 defenseman, but I'd love to have him for 5-6 years in Montreal as a 5-6 6-7 defenseman. I mean, he accepts his role and he's really a proud man, and he wants to do well. And when he doesn't play, he doesn't mope. He doesn't have a bad attitude. And you see so many clips of him just going nuts when his teammates do well and he's not dressed, and he's thrilled, and the players feed off that. And boy, I would love to see him in Montreal for many years. And I love this game tonight. He kept it simple. When he keeps the play in front of him and not like side to side, he does well, because mobility is always the issue. I wonder if, having played that one game yesterday or 2 days ago as a forward, didn't boost his confidence to play defense. Like, that was a challenge for him, right? You got to play forward, totally out of your element. And he handled himself very well. I think he surprised me, I'll tell you that much. I didn't think he'd do that well. Now he's got that confidence a little bit to say, things went well tonight, and now I'm playing defense, and I'm going to kind of try to carry that to another challenge, having to come in and play a really good team, and probably having to play a little bit more minutes than I've played all year. And he did very well tonight also. The same thing. No real big mistakes, just got the puck out of the zone easily and simply. And the few times he might have coughed up the puck, no panic, just settle down, get the puck out, no more, no less. So it was great to see, and the players, I think, would have been really happy for that. And Struble is the same way. Again, no confidence offensively. Yeah, he's chipping in. He's taking shots on net, making good passes, carrying the puck a lot more. And defensively, again, the same thing. A few times he got some really, especially in the first two periods, some of the passes that were sent to him were not the best. I think Kapanen made a sloppy one a little bit, and I think he got a bad one from Evans. And again, no panic, no coughing up the puck and going around in circles all over the place. Just put it back down and just get it out of trouble, and we'll restart over again. No worry about it. And the physicality's a little bit coming. We know he's physical, but I thought tonight he stepped up his physicality a little bit. He feels confident that if he gets a penalty, it's not the end of the world. He's not going to lose. He's not going to be benched. So let's
Yeah.
stand up for our teammates a little bit. And he doesn't do it in a dumb way. He pushes a little bit and he makes sure he stays within the limits of what is acceptable, sends a message. But if you need to go a little further, I'm sure he could handle himself. We've seen him against Zadorov. He was really impressive. So it's just great for Montreal again to see these young guys that don't get a ton of minutes play with that confidence and have some great results. And it was really, really important today. And I think they were both rewarded for more ice time than they usually get. And that's great. And for all the people who say that Marty St. Louis hates the youngsters and doesn't want to give them an opportunity, well, he gives them an opportunity. So they deserved it.
Well, they say that he hates Arbor, doesn't like tough guys. Look, and also a lot of people have been saying like, Arbor's not going to want to be 6'7" guy. Hey, Arbor was undrafted in the OHL, undrafted in the NHL. His attitude is just fantastic. I've interviewed the guy. He just gets it, and he's not. Yeah. He's a team guy, and they love him. You're right, Liam. They do, and I want him there as the 6'7" guy. I think that's the perfect spot for him. Plus, he's there. He's one of the toughest guys in the league, and that's nice to have. It really is. You've got a tough game coming. Put Arbor in if he wasn't playing, and it boosts everybody's an inch taller, as the old saying goes, right? And
right.
Does the player that won it the game before make the decision on who gets the Wolf's head or Fox head or whatever it is? Yeah. Well, it was Struble, right? The guy that has taken his spot for the last 6 games gave it to, which was, I thought was so cool.
Oh, wow.
Right?
Great.
Struble gave it to Arbor for coming in and playing the friggin' where he's being asked to play a position that he hasn't played and come in to the lineup. But those two have become buddies. Like you've seen it, you see some clips and stuff, and they're pretty tight too, eh? Yeah. But then that just goes to show you, right? 2 guys that are battling for one spot, and is there any animosity or jealousy there? No.
Well, you heard how they find out who's playing, right?
No.
So in the morning of the game, they take a whirlpool together. 4 or 5 of the guys.
Right.
They send Slav. They send Slav out after the coaches' meeting, and Slav comes back and he'll say, Arbor, you're out, Stroobs, you're in. And I go, okay, all right. And everybody laughs and, okay, Stroobs, you got it tonight, buddy. Go get it. And, because it was when they were platooning back and forth. Now Stroobs, of course, has been on this run. So, but man, did I laugh when I heard that. But I also went, that it's just incredible. Every team, when you watch the guys interviewed on teams, as we all do, you watch the other games and you see the post-game interviews and you see guys talk about, well, we're really close. We're a close-knit group. How often do you hear that? It's one of the cliches that's rolled out all the time. And I think this Montreal group, all coming in at this age, so many of the guys, got a couple vets, which you need, but so many of these guys that are coming together in their early 20s, and you don't want to get ahead of yourself. You don't want to make any comparisons, but it sure does evoke memories of Boys on the Bus, from 45 years ago. And that was a big thing. That group came in. Yeah. Of course, nobody will probably ever be able to duplicate that. But by 2026, late 2020 standard, such as it is, we could be seeing the genesis, the embryonic stage of a late 2020 edition of Boys on the Bus, because that story, even there, that tiny little story, that little morsel of information on how Struble and Arbor find out who's playing is absolute gold.
Yeah, I did see that actually. Now, that I saw a snippet of it, just the end of it, I guess it's up on the board or something, and Slavkos looks and comes in, and
Yeah.
that's true.
Yeah.
It just, or the time when they're playing cards. Did you ever see that one on the bus?
Yeah.
And all Stroobs is pouting, and but Arbor is he's just he's funny, and he's unassuming. He's no ego. He's just a great guy, and he's a perfect guy to have in the role that he's playing. And people that say, "Oh no, they gotta trade him," no, that's the perfect guy for
idiotic.
Absolute
idiots. Anybody who would say that, but you gotta get it all on Twitter.
Yeah, you do.
It's unbelievable. This little thing I'm involved in right now in the senior hockey, helping the Manotick Mariners out. And we're playing Tweed in the final. It's Game 5 Saturday night, and the social media aspect of it is, it's pretty rancid. And there's been some comments, and some people have had to delete stuff, this, and that, and everything else. Difference was 30 years ago, 40 years ago, no social media. So
right.
When we wanted to say something about Kucherov or the Tampa fans will be clamoring for Evan's head there tonight. That sort of thing. I'm sure later when all three of us and anybody else online here will go online, there'll be all sorts of stuff, right? And just, you didn't have that opportunity before all this started. So now everybody and their brother could chime in, and it's added a lot to a whole dimension to this whole, the whole genre, really. It really has. But
yeah, and at the same time, so a little bit of a kind of a different angle to it is some a minority maybe, but some supporters of Jack Eye online kind of go a little bit overboard too, and they say stuff like, well, if Matheson makes a mistake, he doesn't get benched, but if Jack Eye makes one mistake, he doesn't necessarily play. It's like, listen, I can't compare a 23-minute guy against a 10-minute guy. Like, be realistic too a little bit. So I think that's what sometimes by being a good supportive fan, they kind of take it a little bit overboard. And I know I've been accused a little bit of not being a Jack Eye supporter, which is like the total contrary. I want Montreal to keep him for many years to come, but don't think he's going to be a top 4 defenseman night after night after night, because that's not fair to him either. You're right. You don't want to put him in a position to fail. I like the way he was used tonight. 12, 13. I'd like to see him get to 14 minutes at some point. Careful minutes, and play around that area, and keep it safe, and he'll help the team tremendously for those games. And yes, sometimes he's not going to play. It's going to happen, and I think he'll be just fine with that as long as he's signed for a long time. So I'm hoping, personally, I'm hoping Kent Hughes makes it happen this summer and just give him a nice long extension, make him part of your team, and I'd be very, very happy with that.
Well, there's a lot of people who think that he wouldn't want to come back to Montreal because he's not playing all the time, and I'd be shocked if he doesn't just love it and realizes that he's a bottom pairing, sometimes maybe sit out defenseman, and that's what he is. And be happy. I think he's more than happy re-signing in Montreal. Playing in Tweed, was Elvis in the building, Liam?
We looked. We looked for him. I got one. My good friend Torch Burnett, who helps run the team right here in North Dundas, made a comment about that. If Elvis, what did he say about Elvis? He said it about Guy Lafleur. Or no, Bobby Orr. It was Bobby Orr's birthday, and I made a post with a picture of me and Bobby. And so I'm sorry, I'm mixing up the stories there, because he made the shot about Bobby Orr. But no, the whole Earl McRae thing started years ago about Elvis and Tweed. Absolutely went global, and it is incredible. It's no, we did not see him, but that is an old rink. I don't know if you guys have ever been in it. I actually did a gig there about 11, 12 years ago. It was the first time I met Keith Gretzky. Keith was there.
Oh, really?
Dubney, who I believe has passed away, I think. And who else? Walt McKechnie. Do you remember that, Nate?
Of course.
Walt McKechnie was there, and he was awesome. We had a heck of a night. Keith was really the big name, and Gretzky
Yeah.
coming in and everything. But
Yeah.
I was only, I was in and out in a night. I never really have had a chance to check out the town or anything. But it's an old rink. The glass is really low. Like Manitic got 3 delay of games penalties for over the glass there last game, and it's they're right. The fans are right on top of you, and there's a few incidents, like just verbal, not nobody throwing any shots or anything, but it you're going deep up the line there, so you kind of have to have your head on a swivel. But it's been a great series, but we did not see Elvis.
Okay, yeah. I ran into Chris Neal a few months back, and he was telling me, like, this is that senior league, right, that you're talking about, the Lowe's in and Pontiac has a team and all that. Fort Collins,
and down the other arm of it that plays in Southern Ontario, Brandon Prust is playing.
Okay, well, Chris said that he was offered $10,000 to play a game in the league, and he said no, because there'll be some who comes along that wants to fight, and who knows what happens, right? He just said it wasn't worth it, to play a game, but offered $10,000 to play a game in that league.
The guys are paid. It's a gray area as to what it is. I know we're off topic here, but just quickly, because I just was with Chris Neal on Saturday. So I spoke in Almont on Saturday for back-to-back minor hockey banquets, and Chris coaches a U15 team, AA. So he was there, and he shared that same story with me, and it just goes to show you, we played those guys in the second round, and they won. It's a best of 5, and they were up 2-0. Manitic came back to win the next 3. So and they're a good up and coming team. It's like they've been in the league. This is Manitic's second year. I think it's Barry Bay's second or third year. They call themselves Madawaska, but they're out of Barry's Bay. And Chris told me that right to my face too, as obviously shared with you, Grant, that $10,000 a game. He said, look at he's in a good position, right? I mean, he's an ambassador with the Sens. He's got a lot going on. So a lot of other guys might have had a hard time passing up that money. He doesn't need it. What he told me, he said, I'm not afraid of fighting anybody. I'm afraid of what I may do to somebody.
That's it. That he might, like some guy that wants to challenge him, and then he gets an assault charge or something like that, right?
Well, he wouldn't get an assault charge because it's on the ice, but he's going to win. Like, I find it hard to believe, really. Certainly what I've seen anyway, I don't think anybody's taking Chris Neal in a fight even right now. And this was 3 years ago. This guy's still in pretty good shape. Yeah. And he's 20th all time, and he holds the NHL record for most penalty minutes on one team only, 2,522. And Ken Danico's next. He just beat him by 6 minutes with that last fight he had with Sean Thornton in Boston. It's a great backstory. But Nealer, I wouldn't want any part of that guy today, let alone 3 years ago. I know it's not that long ago, but I mean, senior hockey, he would absolutely rip it up. He would rip it up. So, he made the right call for himself for sure. But it is really, really good hockey. It's really good.
Yeah, I know quite a few of the players in it, and definitely. Kelly Summers was playing, right? That former for Madawaska, picked by the Senators a few years back, and a few names like that, NHL draft picks. And so this is interesting. Let's say Carrier's out a month, and Arbor and Struble solidify their spots. They're playing well. They're bringing. There's a little added toughness there. Gooley takes over the PK role that Carrier had, which I kind of hoped that he would do anyway at some point here. And they're rolling along. Carrier comes back. Playoff time, tougher hockey. Let's say they're going up against Tampa. They just beat them with Arbor and Strubes in the lineup. Do you think there's any possibility that maybe they just stick with the 6 that they've got now? I'll start with you, Rick.
It's hard to imagine, just because, coaches are coaches, and they tend to be a little bit more conservative. And I think he feels safer with Carrier, who's an experienced defenseman who's been around the block a few times. And then So I'd be surprised a little bit. And for that to happen again, they have to play about as well as they played tonight, and continue that for a long period of time, for a few weeks. But it is something to consider again come playoff time, because the fact that the game is slower come playoff time, there's more hooking, a lot more things are tolerated, kind of plays into Jack Eye's advantage, right? He doesn't have to be as fluid. He doesn't have to skate as much. He kind of could just keep it simple, and the play comes to him a little bit more. And I think one of the differences, to me at least, is if Jack I could find a way to get more shots on net, because he's got that big, heavy slap shot that could create a little bit of havoc. If he finds a way to add that to the way he's played tonight, I mean, I still think Carrier gets back in, but I don't think it's an easy decision. And there might be a lot of second guessing there. That's what I think is going to probably happen.
Well, there's 5 left defensemen too, right? And that, what do you think, Liam? We'll end with this for you.
I think Carrier probably gets back in. I think that the beautiful thing about it is that you lose a game, you got the opportunity to make some changes, and you can highlight or isolate why you lost. And you're not going to see a change in your top 6 or your top 4 D. And those personnel are going to stay barring injury, but the peripheral edges of every team is where you see the movement. And sometimes it's a spark. Sometimes it's a response to what happened in a game. Sometimes it's addressing a situation of you may need maybe you need another right shot, whatever the case may be, however you deem where the shortfall may be. But I think right now with Montreal, with the expanded playoff roster and the bodies they can have, both dressing 18 and then who they can insert depending on situations, is again, just like the whole thing right now, the whole package right now is a position of strength that we just have not been in. We just, you have to start looking back, and in some cases way back to when they've been in this type of positions of strength. So I think Carrier goes back in. And I think they'll adjust there, and then they'll make the decision. And I think once they lock up a playoff spot, I always hate to say it until we actually have it. But so I say once we lock it up, I think you'll see some movement then too, and we'll see guys will get some ice, a lot of ice. Other guys not so much as they rest and whatnot, which will be great. Yes. Look forward to that too. So this run has been just so beneficial on so many levels. But I think Carrier gets back in.
Yeah. Well, Arbor didn't start the playoffs last year either, right? And then he came in, and maybe it'll be a situation like that. If they get down, they're getting out muscled, and they'll bring Arbor in. But maybe he doesn't start in the lineup. But if they get behind, if they're being out muscled, then he's certainly an option, right? And I just and Michael Hage, right? Michael Hage is he can come in that second line. I don't know. I think they've had one good game in the last 5, and I'm not really feeling it without that trio. And I think there needs to be someone other than Newhook with Demidov. And maybe Hage comes in, and they've clinched a playoff spot, and they give him a look there before the playoffs. Demidov came in with 2 games left last year, right? Had an audition, and then they played him in the playoffs. Maybe we'll see the same with Hage too, and that's it's nice to have that option. It's reminding me a bit too, Liam, when you keep you harken back or whatever to that 86 team that had so many young. They had DiPietro, Gian, all those guys. They had about 5. I think they played 17 or 18 forwards in that playoff run. They just we're bringing in another rookie to play and give us a spark. Hopefully, Canadiens are in that position this year that if they do, win a playoff series or two, they can, there's probably going to be 16 guys anyways up front that they could utilize. And I think that's a bonus, right? Okay, Liam, listen, I've kept you for an hour, and I guess Rick too. You want to get going. So guys, really appreciate you coming on tonight. I know you're not going to be here Saturday. You're going to be, is it in Tweed or is it in?
No, we'll be making the announcement. No, it's back. It's supposed to be in our barn. They're taking the ice out of Manotick now. We're City of Ottawa, so unfortunately, it's not the old days like when I worked there. When it was Rideau Township, we would have kept the ice in and allowed this last game, but it was announced it was going to be at the Fred Barrett Arena, which is the father of Fred, who played in the NHL, and John and John, of course, who played, two very, very dear friends of mine. But it'll be announced tomorrow. I'm breaking the news here right now. It'll be announced tomorrow that they're moving it to the Minto Arena on Greenbank Road in Ottawa. Much larger, thank God, because they're over 8,000, almost 9,000 views watch this game online. Wow. And they'll have over 1,000 people in the arena on Saturday night. So it has captured the imagination of these two villages, and it's going to be an epic contest. And that Montreal Canadiens team in '86 had 10 rookies that ended up playing at least one game in the playoffs, of which I think 6 got their name on the cup. And that was just, they won the Calder Cup the year before, right, in Sherbrooke. So the promotion, starting with Patrick, I mean, let's be honest, but Claude Lemieux was right there too. What he did that playoff year, the whole thing was just magical. But it came off of the end of the whole, the glory days of the 70s died in the early 80s as the Parks went away, and the whole thing with Lafleur. And then you had just a couple hangover, right? You had the Big Bird, you had Bob. Mario Tremblay was still there. He didn't, he ended up leaving in the '86, but they still gave him a ring, and he was there, part of the season. But I mean, everybody else pretty much was a kid, right? I mean, even Chelios for a couple of years. It was just such an exciting time. That's 40 years ago, and that team went to the semis in '87. The only reason they lost to Boston is '88, and Mike Telvin broke Richet's thumb. And then they went to the final in '89. We were up 2-1 on Calgary when Ryan Walter scored in double overtime in Game 3, and we couldn't hold that lead. But it was a great decade, even though they only got the one cup, 2 finals, 1 cup, 4 trips to the semis, if you include '84, and we were 5 games under 500. We were 35, 40, and 5 that year, if you remember. And then Steve Penny caught fire, and we went all the way. And Brian Trottier ran Gainey. We didn't answer the bell, and the Islanders beat us in the semis. But anyways, I digress.
Yeah.
But, always great to see you, Rick and Grant. And Grant, we got a big day tomorrow, buddy, you and me.
Yes, sir. And 93 was, of course, is what I met with DiPietro and Demers playing these guys. Yeah. But it was the same thing in '86. They had all these rookies, right? And you're right. Like they just, both years, they had all these extra guys, right? But yes, I mentioned this last night.
And, I mean, in '86, remember Maley and Steve Rooney? I mean, these guys that were just bit players that ended up getting in games. Just to your point, Grant, like if Carrier struggles because we're playing Tampa and they're literally running us right out of the rink, well, guess what? Arbor's going to dress. Yep. They'll dress him, Yep. And if maybe you don't play him 13 minutes, maybe you play him 9, but at least he's a guy you can put out. And especially if you back at home where you've got last change and you can control it a little bit better. Yeah. So we're in a great position right now. We just have to lock and load, get her done, and then let's stay healthy, hopefully, and start the playoffs. Whoever the hell it is, they're going to get a tiger by the tail playing the Habs, man.
Yeah. Well, that's why Sammy Blais will be a call up too, and he'll be a potential.
I love that guy. I really think this guy can play in the NHL. I know he's a rubber ball here on waivers this year, but I am a huge fan of his, and I really, It's just where do you put them? We got no room. And you look who's coming. I mean, it's unbelievable. I'll tell you, it's heady time, man. It's heady time.
Yeah,
Must have been like this in the 50s, eh, fellas? Must have been like this. Rocket Richard goes in to see Frank Selke and says, that's my brother, my younger brother Henri. He wants to play for the Canadiens. Oh, Jesus. What do we do? Kenny Reardon. Frank says, oh, we'll bring him to camp. So we'll just, I can't piss off the Rocket. So they bring Henri to camp. He's the best player on the ice. Holy shit. Oh, we better sign him. First 5 years wins 5 cups. I mean, and you got Bellamo, you got Dickie Moore, you got Boomer, you got Doug Harvey, you got Tom Johnson, you got Sean Clark.
Crazy.
It must have been like this in the 50s. So we're in a really good period if the boys can really give the fans a treat here in the next couple of weeks. So we'll see what happens. So these questions here: who would win in a hockey fight, Shesterkin, Markstrom, or Toby? That's a tough one, man. I tell you what, the way Dolby goes in the crease right now, I take him. I take him in the scrap there for sure. And the Suzuki Caulfield thing. So Caulfield hasn't scored into an empty net.
No.
Brett Hull never scored into an empty net. And now
He was never out.
Do you think? What do you guys think? Before we leave, Grant, throw it back to both of you. What do you guys think? Do you think Nick and do you think anything was said? Was there any? Did you guys see anything? Did you see any eye contact or anything where Cole went no or whatever? Because you got to remember, there's still a minute to go in the game. Tampa, if you miss that, and they come back with Bassey out and score, you got 30, 40 seconds. Nick seals the deal for sure. But do you think maybe Cole maybe even looked him off or something? I don't know. I didn't see it. Did you guys? What did you think about that?
Well,
I didn't notice that thing.
I was getting set up here. Honestly, I didn't. I went back and saw a bit of the replay, but I didn't see it live. I was getting things set up here. A minute left. No, but
no worries. I mean, if he scores the empty net, he's one back at Nate. Yeah. And this whole thing, I mean, it's Rocket Richard. He's a Hab. That would be unbelievable. But I mean, Nick sealed the deal. Personally, going back and forth with my son, huge Hab fan too, is saying, thank God, get the freaking 2 points. Cole already got his goal. You know,
yeah. He's going to get 50.
He's going to get 50. He's going to get 50, and it's just going to be spectacular. Anyway, just wanted to throw out a couple more things here before we signed off.
I hope he gets to 53, and he's one of the third highest total ever by Shutter and Lafleur had 60, and he'd be
that's right.
He'd be third. That'd be kind of cool. But Liam, before you go, yes, you are interviewing. You're doing a Montreal Forum tomorrow at 12:30, and you are going to have on the mullet man himself, Mr. Terry Ryan.
Nice.
Yeah. He's been number one with a bullet here across Canada ever since he played that game for the Growlers in the East Coast League as an emergency call up. He's 47 years of age, something, and he ends up playing in a game, and then he gets in a fight. He got in a fight. He's already, he's got Republic of Doyle under his belt. He was in Letterkenny, and he's a regular on Shoresy. And then you're watching TV, and he comes on a commercial with Connor McDavid. Are you kidding me? So I can't wait to ask him about this. I'll tell you what, I've closed a few bars with this guy. He's through Newfie, 100%. Mount Pearl, little suburb outside of St. John's. His dad played in the WHA, and he's quite a character. His basement downstairs is just one of the most incredible collection of hockey memorabilia. His memorabilia is actual stuff from the day, like from guys he played against. He got sticks and jerseys and pucks and stuff. So, we got TR on tomorrow for 45 minutes sharp, and then I got to peel off and jump on his podcast and give him 45 minutes. That's the deal we made. But it should be awesome, Grant. He's a great guy. I don't know if you guys have met him or not, but, drafted by the Habs, 8th overall. Like he checks off all the boxes, and he's absolutely fabulous on a microphone. So we're going to have a real blast tomorrow, man. And I can tell you it's going to be epic. He is jacked up to do it. So it's going to be a lot of
Great.
fun.
Are you going to have an
Awesome.
Irish coffee for that one, Liam? Or
I'm going to have some alcohol here. I'm not sure if it's going to be whiskey or pints, but I may
Okay.
just have a shot or two because I like to toast his dad, even though he's still with us. God love him. And so I'm definitely going to have at least a shot of whiskey, but I probably will have a nice cold Molson X very close by.
Well,
Nice.
I'm looking forward to producing that one, Liam.
Rick,
Okay, my
Rick,
friend.
it's always good to see you, buddy.
Thank
Yeah.
you. It's always good to see you, Liam. I
Always
appreciate it
good
very
to see you.
much.
Grant, thanks very much, guys. Go Habs, go! And yeah,
Okay.
it's anything on here? What's this here? Hold on. CTV back in the day. Man, I'm not sure which show he's talking about. Dick Irvin's show, maybe? Maybe Dick Irvin's show, Hockey Magazine in the 80s.
Well, yeah, or with
40 years ago.
With Landsberg.
All right, boys.
Okay, Liam.
Hi, Liam. Thank you.
Talk to you soon.
Good night, guys. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
See you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow, buddy. Everybody have a good sleep.
Thank you.
Bye, Liam. And you. So Liam's always entertaining, eh?
I love that guy. He's awesome. So cool. Such a fun guy. And again, love his energy, man. It just wakes everybody up.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. No, I'm just blessed to have him as part of both of you, but and for him to do a show too is pretty cool. And he's got on Larry Robinson, D. Carbonneau, Brian Scrudlin, Ivan Cornway, and now Terry Ryan, and that one will be a riot. All right, Rick, any parting thoughts?
No, just again, great win, and they're learning how to win these tough, tight games where not much happens, but you got to learn how to win those games. You're not gonna go far in the playoffs if all you do is get easy, fun wins, and it's just great to see the Habs coming together and becoming a mature, well-rounded hockey team. So, man, if you're a hockey fan, if you're a Habs fan, this is your time to shine. Wow. And a lot of these guys are signed for such a long time at a great price. So
that's true.
The next few years is going to be just fantastic to be a Habs fan, really.
Well, we need some boring, you're going to win at playoff time. There's going to have to be some boring games. And so I don't mind actually seeing a few here now. It's like 12 goals against in the last, or 20 goals against in the last 12 games. I want to go back and look, but it's got to have been a long time since they did that. And that's what's going to win at playoff time. So they're rounding into shape at the right time here, and let's hope they can do it at keep doing it at playoff time, right?
Absolutely.
Okay, Rick, always a pleasure. Thanks, buddy. I'm going to get to. I've been neglecting the chat because I got 3 is on board here, but Liam's actually looked at it more than I did. But thank you so much again, and
thank you, Grant.
We'll see you soon, buddy.
Absolutely. Have a nice night. Bye, everybody.
Rick Springhetti, folks. That absolutely. Hey, I couldn't be happier. Ole, ole. Oh, Nas gifted 5 recruits Habscast memberships. Thank you, NAS. That's pretty cool. I appreciate that. Wade Wilson, like, share, subscribe. Hey, hit that like button if you don't mind, folks, and subscribe if you haven't. It's all good. It was cool to see Paul down in Tampa at a game. He's been a real jet setter lately. Slaff's assist on Caulfield goal was a thing of beauty. Oh, absolutely. And one goal away, right? From the 30 goal mark. Did I think that 20 games into the year that he'd score 30 goals this year? No. I was wondering whether he would ever score 30 goals. He's going to do it this year. So, and he's an even better playmaker. So I think the Canadiens have themselves a point per game power forward, from here on in. He's been that for the last 40 games and 50 games, and it's just going to keep on. It's going to keep on going. So Kenny says Slav is a complete player already, and he's just getting better. That's for sure. Absolutely. We had, you know what? Unfortunately, I lost a bunch of. I'm really sorry about that. My computer crashed on me there, and I came back in, and all of the earlier stuff was lost. But I'm not sure exactly who it was that donated $2.79, but thank you very much. And Donnie McCaskill, thanks, Donnie. You also donated $10 to go along with the 20 from Mark tonight. So, guys, thank you so much. But I have to apologize that unfortunately the live chat here on this has disappeared. But what I might be able to do is go on to the telecast, the broadcast here, and maybe it's up there and I can go through some stuff. So just bear with me here for a minute while I get up and play the actual episode here. Get rid of Peter Mansbridge. All right. 139 watching. Well, that's good. 50 people have liked so far. Come on, folks. I just pressed it. That's 51. Yes, NAS with the memberships. Thank you very much. Dobie has only given up. What does it say there? Dobie might enter the final three top. Yeah, well, the way he's going, yeah, maybe he's in the top three, but I think probably just outside of that. He's jumped ahead of Cappy now. I think it's fair to say. But no, chat got cut off here. That's unfortunate. Let me just back this up here. See if it goes back. I certainly hope the money didn't disappear. That wouldn't be good. Well, let's bring up the stats again. Didn't really get a very good look at it. Matheson playing 23. With Carrier, you had to expect his ice time to be up in lane. Of course, 26. Dobson 21. Gallagher 8 minutes. Hey, he was kind of invisible out there again tonight, I thought. Golden assist for Slav. Same with Caulfield. Matheson, goal and an assist, +2. 5 minutes on the 5:32 on the penalty kill for Matheson. Big game from him. Shots on goal, Caulfield and Suzuki 5 each. Hits wise, Anderson with 3. Valeno 4. So that was good. Block shots, Evans 4 block shots tonight. Hudson, who's been blocking a lot lately, with 3. 3 for Ghouls, 2 for Matheson. So the defenseman really stepped up. Newhook actually 83% on draws. Deneau 75. Evans 43. Suzuki 20 draws, 50%. So that run of his where he was really winning a lot. Well, hey, it was still 50%. That's good. Nothing wrong with that. So, yeah, it looks like the earlier chat isn't there. And that's unfortunate. I apologize. Sometimes there's a glitch. I don't know what exactly happened, but it was suddenly the whole thing just shut down. But luckily, when that happens, the podcast keeps going, and those two were able to keep talking, and I assume I was off the screen there for a while, but yeah, it looks like the earlier posts from everybody have gone the way of the dodo, and I apologize for that. I like to read as many comments and see, but repeat some stuff. XPW Soldier Boomers, yeah. Yeah, can I help you there? Boomers, yeah, I guess, right? Generation X, Boomer, whatever you want to call me. It was Kyle. Okay. Thank you, Kyle. I'll let you know if it went through. I would imagine it did. I can let you know. In fact, I can probably find that out right now. So, anyone got some questions for me? Considering how many block shots this team has had this season, it's amazing there hasn't been broken bones other than Doc. That's a good point. That is a very good point. I agree wholeheartedly with that. It's Guy Carbonneau inspiration, right? Guy was the first real great shot blocker. I mean, that just ate pucks continuously, and it's kind of cool that this team is kind of continuing that tradition, right? Very very encouraging for sure. Yeah, I don't seem to be able to open up anyway, let's get back to Liam, the Human Hockey Archive. I know he remembers. Well. Hey Grant, have the Habs ever had a player built like Slav with his skill set? Closest I can come up with is Shane Corson. Yeah, no. Slav's a lot more skilled than Shane Corson was. That's for sure. That'd be the closest, I guess. But yeah, no, it's Slav for sure is in his own. He's in his own league for the Canadiens. I mean, what? Back in the day, Frank Mahovlich, sort of, right? I guess. But again, different era, like not nearly as skilled as Mr. Slavkovsky is, that's for sure. Slav is just he's well, they talk about unicorns. I would say that he's a unicorn. You know, maybe, that's who should have been classified as a unicorn and not Florian Jacki, because there aren't many Slavs in this league, let alone Slavs in Montreal's past. Like, Corson, nowhere near the hands that Slav has, or the ability to hold on to pucks. Yeah. I'm having a couple issues with it. It's funny. I'm right beside the modem here, and you'd think it'd be better. Curious to hear your thoughts on Gooley's game. Oh, he's been better. He's been excellent. So I was saying, I'm glad that he's been getting more and more ice time and killing penalties, because he's looked great. Kyle, yeah, your 279 came through, buddy, and Mark's $20 and Don's 10. So good stuff. You don't have to resend 279. Thank you so much. LeClaire is a good pick. Like, it's close to. I'm curious to hear your thoughts on Gooley's game. Yeah, like you're talking about Slav being close to LeClaire. Again, LeClaire didn't have Slav's puck handling skills. I have to say, Grant, it was nice seeing Gooley, Arbor, and Anderson in that scrum. Did Getzel have a death wish trying to pick a fight with Anderson? Yeah, I know. And I posted something online that said that, this team that likes these scrums, they picked the wrong 5 to be in a scrum with. There was some sandpaper out in the ice for the Habs right there. And Getzel did not want to go any further with Anderson on that. That's for sure. Veleno almost injured himself. Yeah, he did. And ran into the goal. Evans ran into the goal post pretty hard too. Next level hockey. I am having some issues here. Apologies. It's just everything's kind of slow. Specialists in hockey development, trusted by NHL prospects. Whether you're looking to elevate your shooting, skating, stick handling, overall game, NLH is here to take your game to the next level. Visit them at nextlevelhockey.com and follow their Instagram. You see below there at nextlevelhockey_ for daily tips, posts, and updates. If you or someone you know have young, aspiring hockey players who want to elevate their game, trust Next Level Hockey to guide them forward. Next Level Hockey, it's in the name. All right, let's get back at her here. Your issues related to your Wi-Fi channel are banned in use, Grant. Yeah, well, I'm not hooked up to the, I'm not hardwired here at the, anyway, downstairs I've got an extender. It's plugged in and it seems to work better down there than it does right beside the hub. Maybe I could probably hardwire Ethernet, do Ethernet right from here when I do it. That probably makes sense. What's my take on Keith Pelly throwing Michael Hage's name in the presser today? Could it be that he only knows Hage due to the Knies rumor. Oh, yeah. No, probably not. I wish that Knies rumor would go away. The Doberman is on fire. Anytime you wish, I'll gladly fix that for you. Fix what? Yeah. Well, the hub isn't downstairs, so I can't hardwire. Anyway, we'll talk about it sometime, Mark. Thank you very much. What I did find amusing with that press conference was him talking about how he didn't, the Buffalo and Montreal trains, he wasn't expecting that. Yeah, okay. Well, Buffalo and Montreal haven't been trading their first round picks and prospects to try to win when you didn't have the freaking group to win like Toronto did the last 6 years. He's really surprised that they eventually caught Toronto. Like, has he not paid attention to Montreal making great picks in the past few years and holding on to their draft picks and accumulating them and having all sorts of young talent that eventually was going to mature enough that they could, blow away the Leafs? You should have saw it coming. I did. I predicted them beating, finishing ahead of Toronto in the standings. So it didn't surprise me one bit that Montreal's blew by them this year. Dobish is in the zone. Are you concerned that the Habs are getting outshot and the goalie is perhaps stealing some games? Yeah, well, it was the other way around for most of the year, so no, not really. You need a goalie that steals some games every now and then. Montreal was on the receiving end all year, so little payback's not a bad thing as far as I'm concerned. Defense is clearing the pucks in front of the net and not giving any, not giving that many great chances. Yeah, Slav's a better play driver. Absolutely. Leclerc was, hey, you put Slav with Lindros, Johnny Leclerc was a solid player, but he's not a 50-goal scorer playing with David Desharnais or something like that. Like, he did benefit from playing with a generational center. Lindros was something else till he got hurt. Like, holy frig. He was a complimentary player. Like, he wasn't a play driver, and Slav can do it all on his own. Ken's exactly right there. Like, Leclerc didn't have great vision, didn't have great stick handling ability. He protected the puck well, but not as well as Slav. Like, Slav's a better puck possession guy. He more elements to Slav's game and better, just more skill than John Leclerc, who was a hell of a player, but not as skilled as Slav. I'd love to see Hage with Cappy, Demi. Yes. Yep. Slide Newhook down with, yeah, maybe, or yeah, or Evans and Bolduc, maybe, or yeah. But I would like that too. I would like to see Newhook replaced with Hage. See how it looks. With everyone losing, Washington is kind of back in the race. I think they have 83, do they, Francois? Which isn't really back in the race. They're not completely out of it, but I think those are the teams that, it's tough to friggin' climb over four teams. It's just really difficult. I'm just going to bring up the standings here because I cut it off. So 85. Yeah, but they played 75 games. They're 3 back of Washington, but they have to jump over 3 other teams that have all played 1 fewer games. They're not out of it completely. Stranger things, I guess, have happened, but why not? Why not have 4 teams battling, right, for the wild card that are just outside it? This is the kind of year it's fitting. It's fitting that there are 4 teams that are still in the race. Definitely. He got roasted so hard by his fan base after the presser. Yeah, well, that's where they should be starting. Pelly should be gone, as far as I'm concerned. It starts at the top. Yeah, they're up to like 103 goals or something. I guess you know, they didn't play together all year, so I don't know. Does it count for them? Because they haven't played together all year. Lafleur shut Lemaire did. So I don't know. He can't even pronounce his own prospects' names properly. There you go. I agree, Grant. That was funny that he didn't see the Habs and Sabres trains coming. Sabres I can understand, but they didn't see the Habs coming, really? Guys sleeping on the job. Yeah, I know. Yeah. A lot better defensively. Yes, they are. Stealing games is a good goalie's job. Yeah. Nice to see goalies stealing some games. Even if Buffalo and Montreal do better than you thought, doesn't justify the huge regression on your own team. Yeah, well, losing a 100-point score for basically nothing and think that Mattias Maccelli is going to replace him. Good luck with that, buddy. Scott Stevens' hit on Lindros was something back in the day. Well, that was the end of the Lindros era. Up to number 7 and goal saved above expected. Well, there you go. I remember Raw getting outshot 15-8 and winning the series. Stovas playing over his head. How much can he improve? Well, he's 24 years old. He can keep improving. Who traded Leclerc and Desjardins? Well, it's always easy to say after. Yeah, traded a 40-point scorer and a 30-point defenseman for a 110-point player. Didn't it's easier now to say, oh, woo. I mean, the guy they got is a Hall of Famer, Mark Recchi, so, And again, Leclerc got to play with Lindros. I mean, that's always going to boost your career. Leclerc is a hell of a player, but you put him with a decent center, and he's not a 50-goal scorer. It wasn't. He lucked out. Put it that way. If you're a betting man, Grant, who do you think is Leafs' next GM? Bergevin? Oh, I don't think so. Jeez. It'd be funny, but Armstrong, their current AGM, someone else. Yeah, well, I mean, Armstrong makes sense, really. Apparently, they were looking at Mike Gillis. I hope so. Why do these names, why are they even in the running? The Leafs will continue with their long tradition and hire the wrong guy for the job, probably. Mike Gillis, here's hoping. Winnipeg won. Well, that's good. Keep going, boys. I want Winnipeg in there. I root for Winnipeg. Always out west, they're my team. Go, Jets, go. I hope they can somehow get back in there. You know what? I don't know. They've got some good players. They were freaking the best regular season team in the league last year. I wouldn't sleep on them. Hey, 1 point out, right? Won 4 of their last 5. Yeah, I mean, LA's entirely catchable. Nashville, I'd say Winnipeg have to be a favorite to win that last wild card spot. I hope so. That would be great for Winnipeg. 28, 26. Yeah. Well, we're getting hot at the right time of year. Hellebuck's starting to play like he can. You never know, folks. That's good. I'm glad to hear that. 67s beat Kingston tonight. It's like they'll be heading to the second round. Brantford, after overtime, beat Sudbury. Friggin' Sudbury has not been a pushover in that series. Got to give them some credit. I mean, yeah, Brantford's up 3-0, but very tight. Very tight. Malhotra, a couple more goals. Nice prospect. 2 goals, 3 assists for Malhotra tonight. Nice. He's going top 10, I think. Medicine Hat won 8-2. I kind of figured they'd come up with a big game. Our boy Pickford, goal and an assist. Good stuff. Looks like Medicine Hat's getting their game together. Wake up call losing the other night at home to Regina. Sometimes you need that kind of boost. Kelowna's up 4-2. Is our boy Papanicus? Yes, he finally got a point. Hayden Papanicus with an assist today. Oh, Jarosky picked up an assist. They lost 5-2, though. Ufa lost 5-2 today. But our boy Z picked up another assist, so that's good news for him. But anyway, I'm going to wrap this up here, folks. I appreciate you. Pronger's been mentioned. Yeah, sure. Hire a guy with no experience. Makes sense to me. Someone mentioned earlier that the Leafs have hired a headhunting firm. Yeah. How about to find a new president of Maple Leaf sports and entertainment? I'd like to see Pronger there. By his views I've heard from him lately, he's living in the past. Winnipeg should have traded for Laine. Might have scored a few power play goals to make it in the playoffs. They should have. Jets issues, they have no second line. Not really, no. Ehlers left, yeah. It's it just goes to show just how important a second line is to a team. Montreal didn't have a second line last year, really, and they managed to make the playoffs, but been different this year. And that really helped. Please hit like if you wouldn't mind. Yeah. If only Winnipeg still had Logan Stanley there. Yeah, my favorite. Well, that might be why they're doing okay. Stanley's gone. You notice now Buffalo's on a bit of a slide. Quinkadink? I don't know. This is couldn't be much tighter, folks. 2 points behind Buffalo, 2 points behind Tampa. 8 games to go. One more with Tampa. Oh, it'd be nice to get home ice, wouldn't it? And Boston's not entirely out of it for second place either, which would be kind of crazy. But Pittsburgh, they're not going away. I think Pittsburgh is going to make it. Like the top 6 look like, pretty good shape here. And then 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 battle out for the last 2 spots. That trade with Buffalo was a head scratcher. Yeah. Look at all the green for the Habs. Yes, the only team, all green. 6 straight, and no little yellow thing either. First time since, I'd be curious to know when the last time was before that too, that they won 6 straight in reg. Probably had to go back a few more years after that too, that they'd won 6 straight. But I mean, to do that with without a Carey Price tells you how good. Yeah, I do remember saying that. Yeah. Oh, you said it. Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. You know what, Mark? I don't remember that. Sorry about that, buddy. But hey, you got any more great predictions? They're going to win 10 straight, or imagine if they went on a 10-game streak, eh? Okay, what's up for the Habs here? I haven't been paying enough attention to the upcoming sked. We'll just get on the. I know they've got a bunch of games in a row here. Probably what, Florida next? Rangers. Okay. Well, that's a winnable game. They'll probably lose that. And then what? They got Jersey back to back or something, don't they? The way Montreal goes, they beat the teams you don't think they'll beat, and then they lose to they'll probably lose to Jersey and New York just to keep it, and then they play Florida, then Tampa, Columbus, Islanders, Flyers. Yeah. All winnable games. Yeah. There you go. Everybody jot that down. Mark's saying I can see the Habs win 10 in a row, so let's hope he keeps being right here. How did you become a Habs fan? Yeah, well, my dad cheered for the Habs. Mom cheered for the Leafs. Habs were good. Leafs weren't. It was kind of an easy. It was an easy decision for me. 69. Dad would tell me about Beliveau and how good Doug Harvey was. You know, and then I could see, oh, this team's pretty good. And my dad was a fan, so I was a fan. Wasn't, no real interesting story, really. I saw Beliveau score his 500th goal. And, my sister, my oldest sister, Bobby Orr was, lots of girls like Bobby Orr for some reason, and she was one of them. And so she cheered for the Bruins. So that first big series, Ken Dryden came up, and that's my first real memories. And I was hooked, right? The Habs beat the Bruins. My sister was devastated, and that was great. So I was a fan for life right then and there. 9-4 for the month. Look at the schedule for the month. Most would have thought near 500 would have been okay. Yeah. The Leafs have had some good players over the years, but none that come close to the Habs players historically. No. Playoff odds 99.9%. That's pretty good, eh? Magic number 7 points. Leafs, Habs, and Bruins. Fans in one family. Yes. And the other sister that didn't like hockey and wanted us to watch movies on Saturday night. She got outvoted. CTV would have a movie on. Nope. CBC. We're watching CBC Saturday night. Okay, folks. I'm going to wrap it up here. Thanks, everybody. Hit that like button, please. Let's get it up over 100. I don't suppose we're there, right? Let me have a look. You're going to get chastised if it's not over 70. 81. Huh. Well, that's 19 less than it should be, folks. Was Liam not entertaining tonight? Excellent show. Wonderful commentary. Thank you, Mark. Great win. Yeah, good night, Francois. Same to you, and Ray. Still the thrill. You have a good night, too. Kenny, looking forward to the next Winning Game podcast. Yes. Hey, tune into the Terry Ryan interview tomorrow. I promise you it will be a beauty. All right? Okay. I liked it on both of my devices. Hey, still thinking there, still smoking. I appreciate that. Okay. That's great stuff. Thanks, guys. And yeah, maybe you guys can even do that. If you want to get it over 100, you got another device there with a different whatever. Hit it, like it twice. Why not? Okay. Appreciate it, guys. Have a great evening. Thanks for the monetary contributions as always. Very nice of you, Mark, to throw in $20, and Donnie as usual, and Kyle. Okay, have a good night, and we will chat tomorrow, I hope.